everybody, and welcome back to the channel. Today we have got a momentous challenge set for me by my good friends at Bike Photos Mallorca. Now, if you have ever cycled here, there's a fairly good chance you've got a photo that looks like this, or maybe even this. It's fair to say that after 10 years taking pictures here, they've seen it all. The question that no one's asking, has anybody seen them all? And that brings me to today's challenge. So let me just get my handy visual aid. So, the four main sites. The original one is Sa Calobra, of course. You've also got Coll de Soller, Batalla, and Formentor Lighthouse. So what I want to know is it possible to cycle to and get a picture taken at every single one of these locations in one day? Depending on the route taken, you're looking at a minimum of 160 kilometers with 3,500 meters of climbing, and that's if you can blag a lift at the start. It's 210 kilometers if you make it a round trip. To make things even more exciting, it's a race against the clock. The first photographers are ready by 9, but will be finished at 3:30. That's only 6.5 hours to get it done. And after a failed attempt last week, called off by the organisers due to inclement weather, I'm back for round 2. You join your hero as he takes the Sa Calobra Express up to the Repsol garage in a bid to save a bit of time. So I'm just at the Repsol garage now, having made the transfer on the Sa Calobra Express. I was the only one on there, had a few cancellations, so it was a private shuttle service for me today. But it's about 8:45 now, absolutely freezing up here, but should be making good time. I've got 162k to do in 6.5 hours. Ordinarily, I kind of not struggle with that too much, but we've got 3,300 meters of climbing to do. I'm going to have to average about 25k an hour. It's going to be quite tough, so there's a little bit of jeopardy there because I'm not sure I can do it. Heading up the backside of the Coll de Soller now. Made fairly good time getting over here. It's 9:20 now. Average speed at 26.3, but we're in the hilly section of the course, so it's going to drop rapidly pretty soon. I think in terms of my strategy for today, it's just going to be about economical riding, not going too hard on the climbs, but not really slacking off on the descents or the flats. Just try and keep a pretty consistent power and then minimise stops or completely abolish them. I should also say that I'm planning on heading down heading back up a different route for Sa Calobra today. So I've done Sa Calobra a few times on this channel and many times in my life, but I've never been down to Cala. So as you make your way down to Sa Calobra, there'll be a turning which I think throws some people off. And today I'm going to take it.
beautiful Cala Twent, and this is kind of just like the bay along from the Sa Calobra port. Absolutely beautiful, not a single soul here. Yeah, lovely. So I got to crack on. No hanging around, no nattering, chattering, chittering. all that kind of stuff. Just got to get it done. It's now just before 10 a.m, so we're going okay, but need to get a wriggle on. Alrighty, we're over 2 hours down now, just heading up the north side of Puigmajor, having done Sa Calobra / Car Twent. All went relatively smoothly, not a blistering pace, trying to keep it relatively steady. Average speed is currently 21k an hour, which is well below where we need it to be, but we can make it back up. And the other trick up my sleeve is that, or up my arm warmers, is that in using the Sa Calobra Express, I missed out the Formentor, so about 400-500 meters elevation, which means that there's actually net elevation loss on this route by about 400 meters. So I'm at the bottom of Pudge Major, just on the outskirts of Sawyer. It's had a great descent there. I think the Insta360 ran out of battery, so I've had to put that on charge. I'm about to tuck into the mankiest looking sandwich you've ever seen. I've got sliced banana, jam and peanut butter in there, but I did it last night and the bananas just kind of turned to mush and made the bread very soggy, so it's absolutely revolting, to be honest, but full of goodness. It's almost like a gel consistency anyway. Here's a come and get me plea for a gel sponsor. This is what I'm doing. Apologies in advance for the lack of Insta360 footage coming up the Coll de Soller. Basically the battery's flat on it. It's just charging on the power bank so I can get it for the descent off the other side. Timing wise, it's a little bit worrying. We've done 70k in basically bang on 3 hours, but we've got another 90k in 3 hours 20. So it's not really evening out, but it's like 3,300 meters total elevation and we're up near 2,000 now, so the second half is a lot more chilled out. After the Coll de Soller I've got a stretch heading towards Campanet, or Cymru rather, which is a lot flatter, so hopefully I can catch up some time there. So I've just stopped at the petrol station for emergency refueling. Not ideal considering how tight on time I am, but I need to get myself a little something a bit savoury, and then it's on to sweets for the last few hours. I do have less than 3 hours now. I've gone over the top of Coll de Soller. A little bit worried though, because my route, because this route is such a kind of logistical challenge to make work, I was playing around with some different permutations, and I think I've got a random one saved on my phone rather than what I should be doing. So I don't know whether I'm on track, maybe ahead of schedule, but I'm gonna have to kind of figure out the route for the next bit. All adds to the drama. This is edge of the seat stuff.
Okay, before we go any further, I just want to give a very quick shout out to the Mallorca Cycle Shuttle for sponsoring this channel. If you were in Mallorca and you want to ride the MA10, get the Sa Calobra Express, or just need an airport transfer, they are your bet. Make sure to check out my affiliate link in the description below. Also, Mallorca Bike Photos, part of the same incredible group. Bike Island Mallorca, if you are here and you're looking for a bike to rent, make sure to check them out and use the offer code SAM5 for 5% off. We've got Clarence here too. And then finally, Medfield, providers of incredible Mallorcan cycling holidays. And I'm now excited to say that I will be running a joint holiday with them in May, and then again in September and October, where I'll be doing the guides. It'll be my routes, it'll be a point-to-point route. It's going to be amazing. So if you want to learn more about that, drop me a DM. Alright, this is the section where I've got to catch up time. I'm going about 40k an hour now, so hoping that average speed ticks up. Pretty much got a straight line now towards Inca. I don't think this is the original route, but I'll work with it. It seems quite quick. I'm just heading towards the outskirts of Inca now, teleported over this way, having made up a load of time on that flat road, but it's going to be really tight. It's 25 to 2 now, so I've actually got less than 2 hours to go up Sa Batalla. I'll probably be at Sa Batalla in about 10 minutes. So up Sa Batalla, down the Formentor, and then to the Lighthouse. I haven't got to get back from the Lighthouse, that's not included. Touch and go.
up Sa Batalla now. Picture 3 in the bag. It's looking rather cloudy up here. Praying that I don't get rained on again. Got drenched the other day. But I'd say I think we've got about a 50-50 chance of making it. Depends whether they leave bang on 3:30 or hang around a bit. We'll see. So I'm just at the top of the Formentor now. It looks like the weather's taking a bit of a turn, so it's clouded over quite a lot. So crossing my fingers, there's not going to be any rain. I'm just setting the camera up and waiting for a nice gap between the cars, because even though I'm on a race against the clock, I don't want to get stuck behind traffic because it looks rubbish. Well, we are back in Port Puenza, heading up the Crueta towards the car park at the top. The time is 8 minutes past 3, which, for anyone who's not made it here to Mallorca before or ridden to the Lighthouse, only leaves me 22 minutes, and that ain't enough. So, it looks like this is another failure. Bike Photos Challenge 2, Sam 0. I'm hoping we might be able to get to the photographer at Sa Calobra. They might be there. So I made it to Sa Calobra. The time is 20 past 3. So I've got 10 minutes to ride about 10 kilometers to the lighthouse. So I'm calling it a day. I messaged my contact at the Bike Photos. I tried to get a little extension, but no dice. She's been there since 9 and apparently it's raining over there. So I'm going to turn around and go home. I think today would have been doable. Like, I don't know, I don't think I'm quite fit enough, like, to squeeze it out. It would need to be like an absolutely massive effort. I didn't really stop too much. Just wasn't quite quick enough. I think the route, obviously, I'm just having to make do with what I can get away with. So I managed to get the cycle shuttle today, and basically that stopped it being like nearly a 200k ride. The way to go, and I'll give it another go at some point, is getting a lift to Soller, starting with the Coll de Soller, and then you're just going from one to the next. But I didn't have that luxury today, so I'll chalk it up as an L. I did get my average speed up over 25k an hour, but still wasn't enough. I'll speak to you again shortly.
So there you have it, a spectacular failure from your boy SK. But I suppose it just makes it more exciting and have more meaning when I do it next time. And I will give it another go. Big shout out again to Mallorca Bike Photos and all my other amazing sponsors. Yeah, there you go. Remember to subscribe, and I love you all. Toodaloo, bye! Oh, and quick disclaimer, apologies, but due to my frantic nature and batteries running out, I didn't film my descent off the Formentor and the top of Sa Calobra, so I may have switched in other footage from another day. So yeah, don't shoot me. But it's all pretty similar. It was the same thing.